These are the Biomes of Australia by Alethea Fleming. I'm in 9th grade, and this started on the 14th of the 12th, 2016. The only problem why it hasn't actually been posted then is because I didn't know how to make a video. And this is for Geography Lesson 14. I'm going to just summarize the instructions a bit, and the main instructions to make a 5-minute documentary video about the biomes of the country, state or province that I have chosen to study. I've chosen to study Australia, as you can tell from the picture, and I'm just going to give brief summaries about the biome and the flora and fauna in that biome. Here is the first biome I'm doing, the tropical and subtropical grasslands, savannas and shrubs in the northern part of Australia. It's the light green part. As you can see, there are 3 main states that it is in. Those 3, namely Northern Territory, Western Australia and Queensland. The first picture that is going to come up are water lilies, and they're common in this biome, and they are common in this area. The next is a python, jungle python, and snakes and spiders are very common in Australia, all over Australia, but this snake is one of the species that also needed to be protected in that area because that is their preferred habitat. The next is kakadu, which is found in the Northern Territory, which is the middle states, and it is also one of the must-see places of Australia. And as you can see, it's very beautiful. It's got a nice waterfall and river. And this place is the Tully Gorge, and it is also another beautiful place for tourists to see, and it is in Queensland, where it is a little less, where it is a little more wet and has less desert part. The desert part is mainly in the middle part, which is the next biome that we'll see soon. This is a this is a jabiru, and it is a very big kind of stork looking bird, and they're found all over Australia, mainly in this area, and mainly in the wet sort of subtropical areas. And this is a Gaudian finch, which is very common, and they're almost like parrots, and they're very pretty. This is a freshwater crocodile. There are both saltwater and freshwater crocodiles in Australia, and these ones are found mainly in the northern part of Australia. And this is just another water lily. There are many beautiful water lilies in Australia. Moving on to the next biome, the tropical moist broadleaf the tropical and subtropical moist broadleaf forests. Now this is only a little sliver of a biome, but there have been some interesting and very beachy areas. Now this one is Bloomfield Falls. It is also another beautiful area for swimming and area for whitewater rafting. This is the famous Australian blue-ringed octopus. It's very deadly, and they're almost always found in this area, which also has the Great Barrier Reef and the Coral Sea not so far from this biome. This is an emu, a very funny creature. It is also on some of our currency, and it's similar to an ostrich or the New Zealand moa, which is now extinct, but very similar to those large birds. These are Banksia plants. They look like corn on like a plant, and they're very interesting plants. This is an interesting place called Kumbalumba. There are snakes around, and it's a very popular camping site. And this is the famous koala. They are popular all over, and uh, this is also a preferred habitat for them to stay. Now this is the deserts and dry shrublands. This area has many great sites to see. This is the largest biome. Australia is mainly a desert. Um, there is a kangaroo on the right, and on the far right there is an aborigine, and they are they are the first dwellers of Australia, and they are the people of the land, the indigenous people of Australia. Um, they have beautiful paintings, and they have many um, they are mostly inhabited in this area. On the left, we have one of the most famous um, attractions or natural attractions of Australia, which is also called Uluru, and it's a very large rock, and it's also very beautiful. This is a desert grass tree. They are very dry, and they are able to grow in the very dry conditions and desert conditions. This is a thorny devil. One step on this can poison you and also hurt you, and they are common in this area as well. Now this little creature is a bilby. It is one of the common little grass creatures. It is similar to a rat, and it smells through its nose, and it can sort of sense, and to warn others of danger it has a very powerful shriek. Now this is the Pinnacles Desert. They're very beautiful, and majority of them have, according to Aboriginal history, have housed and provided shelter for many animals and also Aborigines. In some caves there is a lot of Aboriginal art, and which is cave painting, and they're very interesting to see as well. Now that is the Uluru. We are moving on to the temperate grasslands, which is I also have family in that area. It mainly covers the state of New South Wales, and is not as hot, but it is still hot. It's a very sort of wet kind of area. Now this is another emu, which is also called Ulambian National Park, and that is a national park, and is also a very wide grassland that houses many animals, commonly including kangaroos. This is a kookaburra, a famous kookaburra. They have a very distinctive call, and they're very common around this area. This is a bowerbird, and it is a blue bird, which is, there are many types of birds. The main type is the green bird, which is inside the nest, and then there are also sapphire colored birds, which are very beautiful. And on the left is the nest. They also use many twigs, plastic, anything that they can find to make their house. This is a billy button, and it is an interesting flower. They are commonly found in this area, and they grow all over, like dandelions and other flowers. Next is the temperate broadleaf and mixed forest. Now this is the biome that I live in. It covers most of Victoria, some of New South Wales, and some of Queensland, which is the state on the top. This is a very wet sort of area. It does rain a lot, but does get very hot sometimes. Now these are gum trees. These are found near where I live, and gum trees are the most common trees around this area. There are many gum trees just outside my house, just outside next to the park that my family and I usually play on. This is a potteroo. Many of the Australian names for animals are very, they sound very funny, and they look very funny as well. And it's a cute little creature. I haven't seen one, but they live, they're very small, and they live on the ground and sometimes under the ground. This is a peppermint eucalyptus, and eucalyptus trees are very common around this area as well. Now this little creature is called a velvet worm, and I hope I never see one, because they eat other spiders. They eat spiders, which also kill humans. So they're very helpful to the environment, but they're also very ugly looking. They shoot out a sticky glue to stop their prey, and then they proceed to either tear off the flesh or eat it whole. I must say they're very scary looking creatures. And here's another one climbing up a tree. I honestly hope that I never come into contact with any of them. I've never seen one before. I hope I never come into contact with one as well. This is the montane grasslands and shrubs, and this area it snows, and it has mainly snowing in the mountain. Now this is a very beautiful tree. It's called a snow gum tree, and I must say it's one of the nicest trees I've seen. And as you can see that there's snow. I think it's really nice because of the way that it's moving out. It almost looks like something out of a surreal sort of painting. And as you should know, Mrs. Atkinson should know, I really love surreal paintings, as I have mentioned many times in our art lessons. This is also another tree that I love, which is also what I picked it for this picture, and it is called a black saley tree. It looks like, again, another tree with the colours that it has and the way that it looks almost as if it's twisting and turning like a hand. This is called a mountain pygmy possum, and it's a very cute little possum. They're very small. They're not as pests as their other relatives are, and some people feed them even though it's illegal, but they are still very, very cute creatures. Now this creature here is a very interesting one. He is called a pheromone colored grasshopper, and he is able to change his color to blend into his surroundings, and they have very good camouflage to also eat prey, and they also change their color anytime they want to help find a mate, which is also another very interesting factor about them. Moving on to the last biome that we have for today is the Mediterranean forest, woodlands, and scrubs. Now, this is just outside where I live, the city where I live, and it is the southern side, so there's a lot of surfing and sort of beachy areas in this area. Now, this is an emu with the Cape Arid, and that is at the very bottom of Australia, which is also another very beautiful place because we're also able to see large waves, and we were also able to see the other parts of, well, the outlines of Australia. This next animal is called a numbat, and he's a cute little critter, and he's commonly found roughly uh, on the left side of Australia, which is the state of Western Australia. This is a gliding possum. They are able to glide, and they are they they almost fly. They don't exactly fly, but they sort of just jump in the air and glide. And as you can see, this little creature does not look like he was happy to be woken up, as they are nocturnal. This is the Naracoot Caves, and they have many stalactites and also and other mounds of rock that I also forgot the other word for. This also concludes our very brief summary of the biomes of Australia. Each biome is important, and yes, we are all grateful for each biome that everyone lives in, and for the different climates and the different wonderful and weird animals of Australia. Thank you for watching, and we have concluded my presentation, and the end.